Hello everyone, and welcome to the NARSA weekly update for the week commencing Monday, January the 25th, 2021, and a very happy Rabbie Burns Day to every Scot all across the globe. It's Gary Gillen here, and I'm your host for this week's edition. Firstly, I'd like to unfortunately start off in a little bit of a downer and let everyone know, if you don't know already, that unfortunately on the weekend there we just discovered that the San Francisco Rangers Supporters Club unfortunately had to close their virtual doors for the final time, confirming over 20 years of operating that they couldn't continue any longer. They had lost their venue sometime before COVID had hit, and then with a dwindling membership for a variety of reasons, it just became untenable for them to continue. For the folks that have attended or have knowledge of the NARSA conventions over the years, you'll know that San Francisco hosted two brilliant conventions, one in 2006 and one in 2013 as well, which was also my dad's first convention that he attended. And they were on deck, as you'll most likely know from the recent past, to host in June last year, which is an amazing feat to host three conventions for a small club. Unfortunately, as you know, last year didn't work out the way that anybody thought it was going to, and that was a shame for everyone concerned. You know, they've definitely left their mark on NARSA's history, and left a very positive mark in NARSA's history. And hopefully when the world comes out of this on the other side and the pandemic is in our rear view mirror, you know, maybe we could have a presence there in San Francisco again. So congratulations and thank you to all the members of San Francisco over the year, and specifically to longtime President Grant Fraser and Scott Fletcher for being the mechanics behind all of the operations down there, and for all their hard work in keeping the club going for 20 years, which is absolutely no mean feat for any business in any walk of life. So yeah, sorry to hear that. That's not what we want to be hearing in these trying times. On to last week. From a games segment perspective, it saw us play just one game, this time against Ross County in the league, and we managed to get back to our fantastic form of late 2020, or I guess, you know, most of this season actually, but up to and including around about Decemberish time. And we smashed County with a 5-0 brilliant win, including 5 different goal scorers, and not one from a striker either. You know, if you won from a forward player in Ryan Kent, but no other strikers were on the score sheet, which is just a wee bit interesting. So it's the start. We have one in a row of our new winning run to take us towards the 55th title in what was Steven Gerrard's 150th game in charge of Rangers. And to give you an idea of how I feel about how Steven Gerrard has been doing over the last wee while, when I woke up this morning and opened up Sky Sports to see what's happening in the world of sports, and I seen that Frank Lampard was dismissed as the boss of Chelsea, I get this sinking feeling in the pit of my stomach that thinks, everyone just leave him alone. He's doing what he needs to be doing for us. He hasn't won anything yet. He's still got a lot to do and a lot to accomplish. But please just look the other way when you're looking for another manager. I get the same feeling every time Liverpool have a dodgy result, which seems to be fairly frequent of late as well. So again, leave our boss alone. He's the gaffer. He's going to take us to 55 and beyond, and I'm sure he will not want to walk away and leave us without having done so and walking out in a packed Ibrox with the UEFA Champions League song playing in the background. So it just shows you how far we've come, that when we're in that sort of market, I believe, where he must have stock in wider markets than Scottish football. And you know, so the big message is hands off our boss. This week, we're back in midweek business, actually midweek business only this week, with a visit to Easter Road on Wednesday afternoon with a 2:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time kick-off. The last time we played Hibs away was one of the few games where we dropped points this season, and it was the 2-2 draw with goals from Alfredo Morelos and Scotty Arfield. And you remember we had some dodgy defending that day, and I believe Hibs' second goal was actually offside as well, which was a bit unfortunate that they didn't catch that and pull the goal back. But we also, of course, beat the Hibs 1-0 on a little bit of a nervy day at Ibrox on Boxing Day, which is a result that I would absolutely take on Wednesday night right now if it was offered to me. So here's hoping that we get 2 in a row and we continue our march towards 55. This weekend we were supposed to be playing in the Scottish Cup against Cove Rangers, but with the postponement or cancellation of the Cup for right now, we have another full week before we play another match against St Johnstone next Wednesday. I believe it's Wednesday. So yeah, just one more game again this week, and it's going to be a big one. So if we can really truly leave it all on the pitch on Wednesday night, we know we've got some recovery time, and that will be the end of an absolutely tremendous December and January. I remember speaking back in around about October, November time, saying if we get beyond December and we're in good shape and we still have this lead, I think we'll be doing well. And then as December carried on, we then are looking to January and saying January is by no means at all an easy month for us either. And if we manage to just maintain this lead, we will be in good shape. And lo and behold, at the end of January, we have effectively doubled what our lead would have been, assuming that Celtic were going to win all of their games in hand. So cannot complain at that at all, but we just need to keep it going game by game and continue to do what we're doing. But overall, the team is performing excellently for us. Points per game for this past week, or for the accumulation of the season based on this past week's games. Rangers are on 2.76 points per game, which is up 0.01 per game from last week. And that mob are on 2.09 points per game, which is down 0.05 per game from last week, with the draw that they managed to squeeze out in a wintry Livingston pitch. So from a Rangers TV perspective, we provided an update at Saturday's general meeting of an update that we just received from Rangers TV first thing in the morning. I had an early 7 a.m. meeting with David Melvin from Rangers TV, and you've probably seen, if you're a Rangers TV subscriber or a frequent visitor to the Rangers website, that they are updating or renewing the Rangers TV app and the sign-on experience within the site ecosystem to provide eventual future single sign-on capabilities, which means that you can sign on if you go into any part of the site, and then you can enjoy a seamless experience and make purchases from different areas. So the Rangers shop will be coming online at some point in the future, I would imagine. And what that means for all our TV subscribers is that you will have, or you will be receiving an email. You will have already, or you will be receiving an email with instructions to update. So basically, essentially, they're asking you to create a new account and use the same email address that you had on your previous account. It doesn't matter if you change your password or not. And if you use the exact same email address, it will link all of the features and functionality that you had with your previous account with your new account. So if you have an RTV voucher that you've applied to your account, then that will manage its way over into the new account. But it's very, very important that you use the same email address for an individual account or for a Rangers Supporters Club account as well. So if you're not using, this is for the NARSA clubs here, if you're not using your club login or your club account right now, please still go in and recreate the account based on the previous email address, and just make sure it transitions over properly. And if you need any further help on this, or me to help walk and talk you through it, please by all means get in touch with me directly, and you can get in touch with me on rangersscc@hotmail.com, 2 S's and 2 C's, and I will do my best to help you out. The one main thing I ask is, please don't wait till just before kick-off on Wednesday to go in and say, I don't see my account, what happened, I don't have a link to verify my address or any of that, because then you'll deal with grumpy Gaz, and I don't want to be grumpy on Wednesday. I'm really looking forward to Wednesday's game. But do it as quickly as you can. You can do it from any device, of course, and for any account at any time. And once again, just a wee plug for the RTV vouchers for any North American Bears out there that are in good standing members of their host club. Please, by all means, take advantage of the RTV voucher if you're locked out of your premises, or you just can't make it along to the venues. If the venues are open and reach out to your club president or secretary, and who will get in touch with me, and we will make the voucher happen for you very, very quickly. So on to the convention update part. So after a few weeks of providing an update that basically deflated one or two people saying that there was nothing significant to report as it relates to the location and venue for the 2022 event, I am very, very happy to be able to tell you that we have secured the location and the venue for our 150th celebration year. And what we'll be able to do is provide an update on exactly where that's going to be next week on our weekly update. I'm kidding. I am kidding. I'm kidding. I'm delighted to tell you that we are going to return to Las Vegas, Nevada. Yep, that's right. We're heading back to Vegas for the first time since 2017, sorry. And our event is going to be on June the 2nd to the 4th, Thursday to the Saturday are the official dates. And once again, we'll actually be back at the Planet Hollywood Hotel and Resort for the event. It was important, very important for us to secure a location and venue that could match both the guest numbers that we'd be anticipating are able to attend, and also a venue that's befitting the type and style of party that we'd like to host for our 150th anniversary. So Vegas does this for us in spades. I do know and appreciate Vegas is not everyone's cup of tea, and unfortunately we can't please everyone, but hopefully we'll get as many bears from across the globe on board as possible and have the party of a lifetime as we celebrate what will be then our 56th title. So it takes a lot of stuff in the background to make events like this happen. You know, the contract signing is the first major step in doing what we need to do. And that just kind of basically opens the floodgates for the real work to start, or certainly the more visible work to start. And I'd like to place on record my sincere thanks to both Drew White and Jimmy Denning from the Las Vegas Loyal Rangers Supporters Club for all their help, support and enthusiasm to get us just to this point. It's always a pleasure dealing with the local Bears and the local organising committees for conventions, and these guys have been brilliant, very, very patient and flexible with us. As you know, the journey to get to this spot has been a little bit stop-start and for a variety of reasons, and the journey effectively started back in May 2020, May last year, where we put out the call for interested clubs to express an interest and to host in the 150th year. Only Las Vegas Rangers Supporters Club put their name in the hat, or threw their hat in the ring, if you want to say it that way, and we discussed and agreed as a NARSA executive to pursue securing the property in Las Vegas, which is our typical normal first step. We did a bunch of work back in July and working with Caesars Entertainment, who have a bunch of properties there down in Las Vegas, and whittled it down to two. It was between the Flamingo and Planet Hollywood, and in consultation within the NARSA executive and primarily with the Las Vegas Loyal, we plumped for Planet Hollywood. And just before signing, which was probably about September time, we had decided to just put the brakes on, and we told both the Las Vegas Loyal and Caesars Entertainment that we were going to hold off on signing the contract until we knew truly what was happening with the 2021 convention. At that point, it was still going to be in 2021, but with a slight possibility, if we had to postpone, that would maybe push itself out into 2022. And as you know, we did eventually have to do that. We cancelled 2021 for the Bramalea Convention in Toronto and pushed it out to 2022. Then, fairly shortly after, we changed direction on that one too, and once again that left us with 2022 being open to the original intent, which was to then go to Las Vegas. During this whole time, we kept close dialogue with Caesars Entertainment, the holding company for all the Caesars properties, and the Las Vegas Loyal. And I really can't thank all the parties enough for the patience and understanding through this. We never got one bit of grief from anyone involved, which would have been a wee bit understandable with the way that we were appearing to chop and change our mind. Obviously we weren't. We were just trying to go with the flow and see how things were going to work out. Of course, we're taking a chance, signing an event for something that's going to happen in about 17 months, just less than 17 months or so, or just more than 17 months, I guess, at the time of recording. But we're doing so in the belief and, quite frankly, the hope that the world will be in a much safer place and COVID-free by then, and our event will go ahead as intended. Please, everyone out there, keep your fingers and toes crossed that that indeed is going to be the case. So next steps for us is that we will have a proper planning kick-off meeting with the Las Vegas Loyal crew, and then we will determine when the best time is to open up the hotel for room bookings and get our tickets priced and on sale, and then work on the various other bits and pieces, our guests, our various excursions and the periphery events that go on in and around that event. And you might remember from 2017 when we were there that there was a 50th anniversary party for the mob from the East End who were also in Las Vegas at the same time. They had a 50th anniversary for some event. I can't even remember what it was now. It was nothing significant for us anyway. And what I can tell you is that our event on the 2nd to the 4th of June does not clash with their event, which is going to be the week of June 13th to 20th. So we will be long gone by a week by the time they've even got going. So it's, if anyone was worried about that or anybody just wanted to make sure we weren't going to be clashing at all, we're not. We're in a primetime hotel on the Strip and they are skulking in the background somewhere off Strip, which is at a place befitting people of their stature. Let's just say that. So more to follow when we start to have our meetings, and we will definitely keep each and every one of you updated on what we're doing in terms of the logistics for starting to get things booked over the next wee while as well. Thank you to everyone for your patience, and thanks also to the NARSA Convention Subcommittee for help and guidance and patience through that process as well. We mentioned last week that from a business perspective, we had our general meeting on Saturday after the Ross County game, and we only had 13 clubs in attendance. Thanks again to all the clubs who had attended. I don't know why, but for some reason, the winter meetings through my whole tenure dating back to 2012 with the NARSA executive, the winter meeting has always been the poorest attended for some reason, and that's a wee bit of a shame, not completely unexpected, but it was a good meeting with the people that we got on the call, and we got through the agenda, got our business items taken care of, and had a chance to communicate on the other things that we're working through, which was great. And for a wee bit of fun, we also managed to give away the first 4 MyJairs memberships that the club were very kind enough to have donated for us. And the 4 lucky clubs to win were Barrie, Calgary, yep, my club, Windsor and Milton. Interestingly enough, through the random draw generator website that I use, it was 4 Canadian clubs that were selected. There was a bunch of clubs that came out on the draw that weren't actually in attendance at the meeting. I just put every single club in, and then we verified the ones that were or weren't there. And so yeah, it got a wee bit tense towards the end, but it was a lot of fun to be able to do that. And congratulations to the clubs for winning those individual MyJairs memberships. Use them wisely. And we also, through some dialogue towards the end of the meeting, learned that we have some pretty significant club anniversaries. We have Coburg celebrating their 10th anniversary in 2021. We also have Barrie celebrating their 20th anniversary in 2021, and Bramalea are in the process of celebrating their 35th anniversary in 2021 as well. So I know that each of these clubs are trying to organise something and do something poignant to mark the occasion within the boundaries that have been set, especially in the Ontario region right now, which is quite heavily locked down. But congratulations to all of those clubs for making it this far, and here's to another 10, 20 and 35 respectfully for each of those clubs. And you'll maybe remember from last week that I had mentioned that there was a live podcast that was going ahead on YouTube and streamed through Facebook and things like that, I imagine, as well, called Blue Heart 1872, hosted by a fellow called Gary Nicol. We had determined that we were going to get Brian Campbell to attend. He originally had agreed to appear and then had a last minute conflict, so I had to step in as a very poor substitute for Brian and the number 1 backup, and we went on live at, it was 1 p.m. my time, which is 8 p.m. UK time. And we had bears there from Australia, from London, England, from Southampton in the UK, and also Scotland, just chit-chatting through a whole bunch of stuff and various experiences and opinions we have in and around Rangers, and our experiences in following Rangers over the years. It was very, very good. It was a nice thing to be part of. It's not something I typically do. I'm not sure that sort of stuff is my forte, to be honest, but it was a lot of fun, and we're going to try and do something like that again, and try and open it up for other clubs to be represented around North America as well. So once we have an idea of when the next one's going to be, we'll give a wee bit more notice than we gave last time, albeit we did manage to give a week last week, and then you can at least tune in and just watch it, or you can certainly offer up yourself to represent your club and NARSA at large, and go on and just chit chat and see how it goes. If you want to get any more information on that, you are more than welcome to search Blue Heart, all the one word, 1872 on YouTube and Facebook, and most likely Instagram and Twitter and stuff like that as well. I haven't checked that out, but Gary Nicholl's a top lad, and he's doing some good stuff there, and it was great to be part of. And this week, from a communications perspective, as we are launching the campaign, if you like, for 2022, formally to be in Las Vegas, we're also going to do some other bits and pieces on some popular pods out there, and spread the word a wee bit more. So you can, from myself, from yours truly perspective, you'll hear a little bit of a skit that we're going to record for the Heart and Hands daily update. That should be broadcast on Wednesday. We're also going to attend the True Blues Loyal podcast on Thursday. I think that's at 8 p.m. UK time. I'm going to be doing Saturday Night Live on Friday at 3 p.m. UK time, and I'm going to do the Late Show with Jay Letterman on Sunday at 3 a.m. UK time. The last two are not true. The first two are. Heart and Hand on Wednesday, True Blues Loyal on Thursday, and we'll do a bit more plugging and see if there's anywhere else that we can get our name and our word out there as well, just about the cool stuff that we're doing. So from a feature segment perspective, this week, we mentioned last week that we met with both Chris Boyd when he finally showed up, and Graham Clark from 5 Stars. And the conversation was basically just to kind of re-establish what we're doing, where we're going as a partnership, and how we can help 5 Stars and how 5 Stars can help NARSA. And some of the conversations, we are going to be doing a bit of a calendar of events that will determine the sort of stuff that we're going to be engaging with 5 Stars on, and providing some content and entertainment for our fans here over in North America. So we're looking to do a Q&A similar to what we did last year, around about the summertime last year. We're going to do one per quarter, and the rough plan is, right now we don't have specific dates yet or confirmed players who will be part of the Q&A, but we're going to do one in March, June, September and December this year, and then we will get those organised and get plenty of time in the calendar to get those done. The rough plan would be that you would have someone, maybe one of the players, interviewing one of the other players, or maybe an actual interviewer interviewing a couple of players, and we'll mix it up as we go through the year. So we just have to confirm the dates, and then we'll solidify what the players look like, and then we'll get everyone the details, and hopefully get you some really fun and good quality Rangers content. Did a bit of a plug last week, for the 5 Stars app, and again they have opened up their bar locator on the app, and you can put in any bar that you know of that isn't there already, that is Rangers friendly, and that will help when people can start to travel again, and you get an opportunity to go to an area and look on the app and see if there's any bars that are Rangers friendly in the area that you're in. And you can also get some of that information, obviously, from a NARSA perspective on our website in terms of what the locations are for us. We are looking to drive as many people to the 5 Stars app as possible. As I mentioned last week, the content there is tremendous, and some of the competitions, if you end up subscribing, are tremendous as well. And we are looking to do some more regular NARSA/5 Star competitions, maybe monthly, and win some cool prizes, like, things that you just can't buy out there. And maybe one of the ideas that was mooted was like a Zoom call with a legend. You could win that or something like that. So we're still in the early stages of working out the logistics of how best to run the competitions and get a buzz around what it is we're trying to do. And when we know more about that, we'll definitely let everyone know. And also, Five Stars have very kindly offered up a 1-year subscription for us to be able to raffle off in some way. Again, more information about that when we figure out how best to do that to create the maximum buzz and exposure for us. So from a future perspective, our future projects, we will get those Q&As organised. We are looking to try and open up as many events across the board as we possibly can, virtual or otherwise, depending on the situation in the world in terms of the restrictions. And, maybe looking at some point in the future when clubs have anniversaries, building that into the Five Stars calendar, that they can maybe send over one of their legends to help promote the event and just continue to expand the brand as well. So more than happy to do things like that if it's viable to do so, and I know that some of the legends would be very keen on doing that as well. So there's going to be more of a presence. You'll see that and feel that as we lead up to 2022 from a Five Stars perspective, as we get more and more in tune with each other and start to churn out some of these very special projects that we're trying to do for our members. Five Stars do have some more gins on the way over the next week, and they're starting to increase their international shipping footprint as well. They're going to be able to ship to Italy, Holland and Germany from, I believe, this week onwards. Unfortunately for Bears here on our shores in Canada and North America, it's a wee bit more difficult, and it's a no-go for Canada as it stands today. And there's certain states in the US that they can work with and work within and be able to ship stuff over, but they're still working out what those are and what the logistics would be, and obviously the taxes and duties and things like that. So a little bit of a downer for us here in Canada, maybe something a bit more positive for the States. And once we know more about that, we can certainly let you know. They do have, as I mentioned, about 5 more gins coming over the next wee while, and through the list that they provided, I think they're going to be excellent and add to the already brilliant stable that they have of gins already. From a next steps perspective, practically for us, we're going to probably meet with them around about every 6 weeks or so. So every month and a half or so, we'll be able to provide a wee bit more detail on what it is we're actually doing as well. Quick reminder of the soccer schools and MyGers session that we're going to be organising, that we have organised and are going to be sending out the Zoom invite for Sunday, the 7th of February at noon Eastern Standard Time, which is 5 p.m. UK time. And it's a great opportunity, as I mentioned last week, for us to chat with folks who are integral to the club operations, and just to see how they're going about their business, how they see an opportunity for NARSA to help, and to see whether we actually can facilitate some help for the club as well. So we'll get that organised, and I think it probably will do. We have 6 more MyGers memberships to give away, 3 adult and 3 kids memberships. So we will look to give those away through the random generator at that same meeting, and that's the 55th Super Bowl Sunday. We will be finished long before Super Bowl, so no one has to worry you're going to miss out on that. And here's hoping we'll get a good participation and some good conversations with these folks. Myself and Brian Campbell this past week also managed to meet with a fellow called Dan Rutstein, who's the Senior Vice President of International Projects with Orange County Soccer Club. And you'll know that Orange County is one of Rangers Football Club's international partners. And we just talked and walked through where there would be areas of mutual interest. There would be, an ability to make some introductions, to just basically support the partnership with Rangers Football Club, and also help support Orange County and NARSA respectively. And we talked through some of the things that we could do in terms of tapping into each other's networks, what Orange County Soccer Club have in the works in terms of merchandise, and some joint merchandising with Orange County and Rangers that is in the works, and looking at that. So it was the first of what I hope to be many conversations, and what Dan had very kindly offered up is that we would also be able to get access to interview either the president, Jeff Garner, of Orange County, or Oliver Weiss, their technical director, on this podcast at some point over the next wee while, just to talk and walk through some of the areas that they see being very critical in terms of, basically exploring for NARSA and Orange County. One of the key component parts of the deal is player development and providing a path towards professional status for football players, but there's a whole bunch of other things in terms of how they're trying to increase their international footprint and their international sponsorships and create a bigger, broader community for the club at large, and I would be happy if NARSA could help out with that. So they're very keen to see where we go from here. We are too, and they're very, very keen also to have a presence in the planning and support for the convention in Las Vegas next year as well, which would be great. And we also, there is a slight possibility, we won't know probably until about the March time frame of next year, of them being possibly even playing Las Vegas at that time. Their season starts around about the 1st of May or early May in 2022, and they're going to try and play all their games at the same, they do these kind of clusters of home games and away games, and depending on what the world looks like at that point, there is a possibility they might be playing a game in Vegas at the same time, which would be an opportunity to go and see some Rangers players live, assuming that Rangers let them borrow some of the academy players as well. So you never know, it might be good, but more to follow on that as we mature things a wee bit more as well. This week, we are hoping to chat with Club 1872 to determine next steps on their initiative of buying out Dave King's shareholding in the club and what it means for NARSA and how NARSA can possibly help them as well. We need to first determine what the logistics are and get a wee bit more detail. They've probably communicated a lot of that. I haven't been party to all of the communications that they've put out. So from a starting point, we will get around the table with them. We'll have a chat with them and see where we go from there. We may have something more to share next week on that. If not, it may be the following week. Just depends when we can get round the table with them. So that is just about that for this week, folks. So here's hoping for another 3 points against Hibs on Wednesday, and then we will enjoy another well-deserved break before we regroup for St Johnstone next week. This coming Sunday is my nephew Callum's 30th birthday, so I'd like to just send out a bit of a shout out and happy birthday on Sunday when it comes, Callum. I was going to do it next week, but then the belated stuff always seems just a wee bit less classy than doing it before. So happy birthday when it comes, and all the very best for your day. I think that's it, folks. Thank you very, very much for taking the time to listen, and please do share this with whomever you think might enjoy it. Take care. All the very best. Cheerio.